Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be reading science fiction books. So the books I read for this reading vlog were The Loop by Ben Oliver and Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. And I'm gonna be mentioning what these books are about before I read them in the reading footage. So I just want to say that this vlog is completely spoiler free. So yeah, let's just jump into the reading footage. Alright, so the first book I'm gonna read is The Loop by Ben Oliver, and I'm going to read what's written on the back. Luca Kane will die in the Loop, a prison controlled by artificial intelligence. Delays to his execution are granted if he submits to medical experiments, but escape is made impossible by the detonator sewn into his heart. On Luca's 16th birthday, the monotony of life in the Loop alters. The government-issued rain stops falling, and rumors of outside unrest start to spread. This might be his one chance to escape and to stop the deletion of humankind. And like here, it says, humanity ends here. I am on page 166 of The Loop, and so far I'm really enjoying this book. So we have been following Luca, and he's incarcerated in the Loop, and we've had some glimpses of what happened before he got there, but like really brief, and we don't really know why he was arrested, and I don't know if we're gonna find out, but so far we don't know. And we've been figuring out how the Loop works, how the delays work, meaning how when they let people experiment on them, how that works, and how much time they can delay their execution with that. And we also learn how the outside world works. And there's rain every night at midnight. And one night, it just doesn't rain. And Luca finds it weird, but then they're all assured that it's normal, everything's fine. But after a while, all the inmates are offered a special delay. And everything starts escalating from there. And this book is like non-stop action. As you can see, I have tabbed so much, and I'm only 45% through this book, and so much has happened. Like, it's non-stop action, and I'm really loving that. But aside from the action part, I'm also really liking following Luca, and since it's like in first person, we really get to know him. And yeah, I'm really enjoying following his journey, and I'm really excited to see what happens. And like, this is the first book in a series, and I already bought book 2 because I'm loving it that much. I have finished The Loop by Ben Oliver, and this book was action-packed from page 1 to page 365, I think. Yes, 365. This was intense. Basically, we followed the characters who were in the Loop, and they had to deal with all the problems that started inside the Loop. Not that the Loop was good before, like, it was horrible to be in the Loop before, but then after everything started malfunctioning, they had to like deal with that, and they also had to deal with the war that was starting on the outside world, and they had to deal with all of that, and it was crazy, and I loved it, and I love following the characters and seeing their different perspectives and how they deal with it, even though like we obviously follow Luca a lot more because this is written in first person. But yeah, it also showed like what his friends were doing, and it was really, really good. I loved it. And also, I don't think I mentioned it in my first update, but there was another prison mentioned, and was the block. And so basically the Loop is for teenagers and the block is for adults. And at the ending, the block was like mentioned a lot more and it was a lot more relevant. And the next book is called The Block. So yeah, definitely excited for that. And I always rate books like not on how objectively good or bad they are, just like on my level of enjoyment. And there was really nothing that I didn't enjoy in this book. I loved literally every single second of reading it. I was just so invested in this story and in these characters, in this world, everything. I really, really loved it. And the next book I'm gonna read is Project Hail Mary, which is enormous, and I'm gonna read what it's written on the back. A lone astronaut, an impossible mission, an ally he never imagined. Ryland Grace is the sole survivor on a desperate last chance mission, and if he fails, humanity and the Earth itself will perish. Except that right now, he doesn't know that. He can't even remember his own name, let alone the nature of his assignment or how to complete it. All he knows is that he's been asleep for a very, very long time, and he's just been awakened to find himself millions of miles from home, with nothing but 2 corpses for company. Fun. His crewmate's dead, his memories fuzzily returning. Ryland realizes that an impossible task now confronts him. Hurtling through space on this tiny ship, it's up to him to puzzle out an impossible scientific mystery and conquer an extinction-level threat to our species. And with the clock ticking down and the nearest human being light years away, he has to do it all alone. Or does he? Alright, I am 52% into Project Hail Mary, and we have been following Ryland. And like it said in the synopsis, I think, he wakes up very confused. He doesn't know who he is, where he is, like what he's supposed to do, but he quickly realizes that he's not on Earth. And as we follow him, we also get some flashbacks, and basically we discover what's happening at the same time as Ryland is discovering what's happening, because as we're reading the flashbacks, he's also getting those flashbacks. And also, I just want to say that we basically, for like the longest time, we just follow Ryland alone. And to just follow one character alone, just like his thoughts and what he's doing, the character obviously has to be like interesting and captivating for the reader. And he is. I absolutely love Ryland so much. He's really great. And so we basically find out why Ryland is where he is and what he has to do. And basically, he's kind of on a mission to save humanity. And also, like, this is obviously a science fiction book, so there's science, but there is so much science in this book. Like, so much science. And I'm thriving. Like, I mean, when it's like biology or chemistry, I'm thriving. When it's physics, I'm just like, what? Because physics has never been my thing. Although, like, I did learn a lot of the things he's talking about, I'm just like, I need a second to get there. But anyway, loving the science, I am thriving. And one of the last things I read is that basically Ryland met someone. And now they're gonna start working together. And I am very excited, and I'm loving this book so much. Not just the science part of it, although like that's a big factor, but yeah, I just love Ryland. I love the plot. I love everything. I am loving this. Okay, so I have just finished Project Hail Mary, and oh my god, this book. Basically, since last I updated, I think I said that Ryland had met someone, an ally, and they were gonna work together, and so we see them working together, finding the answers they need, and working towards their goal, and they are so cute. Like, the friendship they develop is so cute. Like, I did not go into this book thinking that I would have this kind of emotional journey, but I'm just, I'm emotional because I mean, I literally just finished reading this, and it was like one of the most adorable friendships I've ever read. And I just, yeah, like I didn't cry, but I was like close. It was so cute, so emotional. And yeah, I loved everything about this. And also, really loved the plot. I really loved what they managed to do. And again, like the science of how this all works. Because the science in this book makes so much sense. Like it could actually happen in the real world. And I love that. I love that so much because a lot of science fiction books are just a lot of more fiction than science. And I mean, I also love fiction, obviously, but just I love science, and I love the fact that this book was so science heavy. And again, I loved the plot. I loved where it went. I loved everything. I think this is one of my favorite books I've ever read. Like, it's that good. It's so good. I don't even like know what to say. I'm just so in love with this book. And yeah, I already know that I'm gonna give it 5 stars because this was everything.
Okay, so at this point I have actually already filmed the intro and like final thoughts for this video, but I finished another book. And the reason why I've already filmed the outro is because I needed like sunlight, and it's now 8:46 p.m. And also I wasn't sure I was actually gonna be able to finish this book before I had to upload the video, but I did. So yes, and the book I read, or I guess listened to, is called High Rise by J.G. Ballard, and I'm gonna read the synopsis here. In High Rise, Ballard once again attacks our uneasy truce with the artificial. 4 futuristic high-rise apartment buildings have been built. Catering to the wealthy, these buildings are in fact enclosed worlds, featuring daycare, schooling, swimming pools, and grocery stores. As the new tenants adjust to life aboard one of the high-rise complexes, violence escalates and members from adjacent floors break off into tribal factions that roam the corridors at night. And like on Goodreads, it says that it's science fiction. And I was like, wait a second, I'm doing a science fiction reading vlog, so if I can manage to finish this book, I'll just insert it in the vlog. And so, yeah, we're here now. And, well, how exactly did we get here? So, if you saw my wrap-up, my July wrap-up, you know that I have been obsessed with Marvel. And that means also like being obsessed with the actors and actresses. And I've been watching like random movies with them. And so, yeah, tomorrow I'm actually gonna watch a movie with my friends. And it's High Rise. And it has Tom Hiddleston. And like we were talking about that, and I saw that it was based on a book. And then I saw that he narrated the audiobook. And I was like, okay, sounds interesting. Also, on that night, my friend was watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And she stayed up until like 6 a.m. watching it. And I stayed up until 6 a.m. to like see her reactions. So that was fun. And yeah, that's when I started the audiobook. And this book is weird. Like literally the first sentence of this book is, later, as he sat on his balcony eating the dog. And I was like, did he just say eating the dog? And yes, it did. So this book starts weird. It continues to be weird like all the way through. But basically the like high-rise building complex, whatever, is divided into basically like 3 sections. And it's like also like divided into social classes. So like the higher social class is on the top floors, medium, and the lower class is on the lower floors. And like the upper floors obviously have a lot more comfort and like just better conditions in general, and like the lower floors are filled with like garbage and like nothing works. And yes, anyway, it was weird, and like the three factions, let's just say, kind of start going to war with one another, and we follow perspective from a person from each of the factions. So like that was definitely interesting, as like we could see three different perspectives. But yeah, this book was weird. They like started fighting, and I feel like at the ending, people were just like full on crazy, the ones that remained, because like people have been killed, have been abused, have been like beaten, have been like everything. They were eating dogs, they were eating other stuff, and they were just like okay with it, like yeah, this is life. No, that's cool. Also, like the outside world was just normal, and there was just like this weird war in this building complex. So, like I said, weird, but like weirdly interesting. Like, I literally just finished listening to this audiobook, so I'm just like, my thoughts are kind of like all over the place. But I do need to edit this video because I won't be home tomorrow and I need to like upload it. And like, I guess that if I had to rate it right now, which I obviously do, I think I'm gonna give it like 3.5 stars because it was definitely interesting, but it was just so weird. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, let's just go into the section where I talk about my final thoughts for the other two books. Okay, so The Loop by Ben Oliver. This is set in a world that is in the future, and it's completely different from our own. Although, I mean, it's our world, but in the future, so it's different because it's in the future. And there has been another war, and the way in which the world is governed is very different. And there are these prisons called the Loop and the Block, and the Loop is for teenagers and the Block is for adults. And yeah, like I mentioned, you can delay your executions by letting people experiment on your body, and that happens every 6 months. And basically living in the Loop is horrible because it's literally every day the same thing, like a literal loop. And but they say that the Block is worse, and the next book is called The Block, so very excited for that. But anyway, we follow Luca, who is in the Loop, and how he has to deal with living in the Loop, and also with what's happening outside the Loop that they later learn. And I really like this book. I really like the character, I really like the world building, I really like the plot itself, where it led, how they decided to act, and I mean, there were some decisions that weren't very smart, but these are teenagers, and teenagers are not the smartest people. I've been one, I know. So yeah, but overall I really enjoyed this book, and I would have given it 5 stars if I hadn't read Project Hail Mary right after. So I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars. But yeah, definitely really enjoyed it, and if you like science fiction books that are set in a world that's different from our own, yeah, definitely recommend. So Project Hail Mary, it was different from The Loop in a lot of ways, but I guess that the major difference was that this was set in our world kind of like it is now. And like, if we divide science fiction into categories, like the science and the fiction, The Loop was the fiction, and Project Hail Mary was the science. So, like I said, it was set in a world that's very close to ours, and there was a lot of science in this book, which I personally love. And we had to basically figure out what was happening at the same time as the main character Ryland was figuring out what was happening, and I really like that. And also, I really like the plot itself, and like I said during the reading fridge,
the friendship that developed in this book was probably like the cutest, most adorable thing I've ever read. So, yeah, still emotional about that. Really, really loved it. And like I think I've also said, like to just follow one character throughout a big chunk of this book, like the character has to be interesting, and I think Ryland was very interesting. He was very, like his humor was very funny to me. It's definitely like my kind of humor. And yeah, he was very interesting, he was very smart, he was very funny, and I just loved following him on his adventure and then his adventure with his friend. And yeah, this book was everything, and I loved it, and I obviously gave it 5 stars. Okay, so I think this is everything for this week's video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!